NCAA basketball totals for Monday, March 20th. We're going to look at the NIT today and a couple games here that I think are going to be a little bit more defensive battles than odds makers anticipate. So I'm going under the total on both these matchups here. I'll talk about them in just 1 second. Don't forget, we also have our NBA live segment. You got to tune into that. That's going to go off at 5 o'clock Eastern time, where we talk about NBA totals like we do NCAA totals. So for you new guys, you got to check that segment out. It's a lot of fun. We get a lot of feedback on that, and I'll try to answer your questions during that segment. So tune into that, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific on our Facebook page. Speaking of our Facebook page, don't forget our YouTube channel, sbrpicks.com, Sportsbook Review, our main web page. You got to check that out. Let's talk about a couple picks so far on NCAA. In the NCAA this season, we are sitting at 169 and 140, which puts us just over 54%. Let's see if we can finish the season on a high note. We hit our only game this weekend. We had the under on Florida and Virginia. But last week we also had a lot of losers as well. So it's not like we did anything special. But overall, for a free pick segment, this is not bad at all. Where we'd be in the profits for sure. So let's go and take a look at these two games right here. We got the first one up is a UCF, and Illinois. Johnny Dawkins did a nice job with that club. Illinois State, not Illinois. That's going to be my next game. This is going to be a defensive battle here. I have a hard time believing this is going to really get up and down the floor. You got two teams here that go at a really slow clip, and I just don't see them putting up a lot of points. Interesting number here, 127.5. I just think that's too much. So I'm not going to get cute with this. I'm just going to go in back under the total. You got a UCF team right now. They're averaging 67.6 points per game. Illinois State is averaging 68.9, but defensively they're awesome. Illinois State's allowing just 61.1 points per game. They're ranked 7th in the country. UCF, they're even better. 61 points per game. They're ranked 5th. So that 127.5 really made my eyes bulge a little bit. It just looks a little bit too high. UCF on the season, they rank number 1 in the country in opponent shooting percentage at 36.4%. Illinois State, they rank 5th at 37.7%. So, sometimes with this, when the number looks a little bit off, I might make it a numbers play and go ahead and go like over the total, which would be the opposite way you would think, because I would thought this total would be a little bit lower, like closer to like a 120, but I'm just not even going to mess around with it. Both these teams are subpar as far as their shooting percentages. You got Illinois State shooting 44%, UCF, they're shooting just under that, 43.9%. So at the end of the day, with the pace included, two teams that don't get up and down the floor really well, I think we're going to stay under that 127.5 of what should be a really good defensive battle with Central Florida and Illinois State. And our next game is going to be a little bit faster pace here with Boise State and visiting Illinois. Boise State's a pretty scrappy team out of the Mountain West. They run some really good sets, especially against zone defenses. They'll probably see a little bit more man-to-man tonight. Illinois is going to be very interesting next year, because they just hired Underwood. So look out for them putting up a lot of points next year. But I don't think that's going to happen tonight. So odds makers have this game at 145.5, and I'm going under this total. Let me tell you why. So right now, Boise State is averaging 75.4 points per game. Illinois, not bad, 70.8 points per game. They're outside the middle of the pack as far as most teams are concerned. But their defensive percentages across the board are not that bad. You have an Illinois team that's allowing opponents to shoot just under 44%. Boise State, opponents are shooting just 43.3% against them. But the pace is really what gets me on this. You got Boise State averaging 56.6 attempts per game. That's not really quick tempo. That ranks outside the top 200 teams. Then you have an Illinois team very similar. They rank outside the top 200 teams, getting up just 56.9 points per game. So both these teams would have to be really efficient, I think, to go ahead and put up enough points. But where they're strong, the other teams are pretty good as well. So, for example, you got Boise State. They're shooting over 35% from distance. They like to shoot the three. But Illinois is allowing opponents just 34% from range. So I look for them to go ahead and mitigate that. Boise State's just a pretty efficient team overall, but they're playing on the road, so I think they'll be a little less efficient against an Illinois team that's been playing okay basketball the last few weeks. Also, Illinois, they're shooting 36.2% from beyond the arc, but that's where Boise State's also pretty strong, allowing opponents to shoot under 34% from distance. So this could get up and down a little bit, but at the end, I think that 145.5 is a bit too much, so I'm going to back under this total. That's it for today. So two NIT plays. We got UCF and Illinois State under the 127.5. Boise State, Illinois under the 145.5. Again, for you guys that are tuning in, we are at 169 and 140. So if you've been watching all these videos and you haven't had to pay me a dime, which is great, and that's why we like, putting this service out there for you guys. Hopefully it helps you on your handicapping, because I've definitely had my bumps in the road this season. But we're going to try and finish March on a good note, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. Check out that NBA Live segment, and I wish you luck on your picks today.
We hope you enjoyed the video. Hey, don't miss out on the best basketball betting content available on YouTube. Click our logo button on the bottom left to subscribe. And as always, guys, give us a like and drop your comments below because we want to hear from you. Visit our website to take advantage of all our free products.